Hey, I'm Pete. I'm in the Totally 80s room, my 1980s theme museum. No, we're not going to be talking about anything in museum today. I want to talk about why I think Gen Xers might be tougher than any other generation that followed after. And here's a few reasons why. But first I want to say that Generation X is typically described as a generation of Americans born between the 1960s and the 1980s. But for the purpose of this video, let's just include anybody who might have experienced these type of things growing up. The first reason I think Gen X might be tougher is because most of us were latchkey kids. What does that mean? Well, that means that your parents would be at work, you'd get off the school bus alone, you would unlock the door alone, and you would stay inside and entertain yourself alone. We didn't have much supervision. You see, being left home alone would make you a little bit more responsible for yourself anyways. So if you got hurt or if you broke something, you had to take it upon yourself to repair it or get yourself a Band-Aid. We're Gen Xers. We can do that. Oh yeah, and we could definitely find our way into the kitchen and make ourselves an after-school snack. And I know you definitely remember hopping on your bike and taking off for an entire day. Maybe you'd meet up with some neighborhood friends, get into a little bit of trouble, maybe ride to a convenience store for some candy. I want you to also notice in this picture, there is a lack of something. It's not fun. It's a lack of safety equipment. We didn't have helmets, pads, anything of this sort. And that's because we were trusted that we could operate a bike at slow speeds, some of us, and not get really hurt. And that creates a level of responsibility, in my opinion. Remember our playground equipment? Look at this thing right here. Everybody remembers the merry-go-round. What a wild ride it was. It was fun, and look at these kids flying off here. I tell you what, I had some of the most fun on the playground on the merry-go-round, and I'm still here to talk about it. And I know all of you are too. Now you may be thinking to yourself, Pete, I can't leave my kids at home alone. It's just not as safe as it used to be. Really? Well, let's take a look. Actually, the peak of all violent crime in the United States was during the 1980s and 90s. Crime is actually significantly lower than it was 25 years ago. I'm no expert in this field, but you can do your own research. I can, however, tell you one thing that has changed, and that's the way we get our information. So does this look familiar? Well, this is how receiving information has changed. You now have all of the world's information in the palm of your hand. So any news about crime or anything bad happening, you're going to have it in your hand. You're going to know when it happens, where, how, who, what, every scary detail about it, and it makes it feel like it's right next to you. Now, back in the day, we had local news or national news, but they only came on once or twice a day. So if you missed it, you didn't know about any sort of scary crime. So I guess, ignorance is bliss. Today, news organizations want to scare the heck out of you. Why? Because you'll come back for more. Again, I'm no expert in any of these fields. I'm just offering my opinion and some common sense. Let's get back to more reasons why Gen X is tougher. Now, what about bullies? I think we all experienced some bullying growing up, but I think there's one key difference, and that was, when we were younger, we were told to, well, speaking for myself, when I was younger, I was told to stand up for myself if somebody was bothering me or bullying me. And I don't think they do that today. I think now it's more of, go tell somebody, tell a teacher, go tell on this person instead of sticking up for yourself. And I think standing up for yourself builds character. And hey, if that didn't work, well, at least you'd have a cool looking black eye, and then maybe your parents would spring for some karate lessons. Now, lastly, what about studying? We didn't have Google. Heck, our computers didn't even do much of anything. You had to go to the library. You had to open an encyclopedia. And what I mean by this is you had a lot more skin in the game. You actually had to put in a significant amount of effort into writing an essay or finishing a project. So anyways, there's a few reasons why I think Gen Xers are tougher than any of the generations that came after. But I want to know what you think. Let me know in the comments. Type something. Yell if you want. I might hear you. And come on back for more.